It is Tuesday night, and you know what it is? It is the Black Hole Unleashed. I'm MP, that guy over there. That's right, that guy. Oh, damn, I did it wrong. You know what? I'm gonna have to put like in the gas light, which shows you where
This
the
guy.
tank is. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to start
This
doing
guy.
that. But this guy over
This
here,
guy.
man, this guy over here, we got a great show lined up for everybody. Hopefully, you had a great weekend. Hanging with this man, it'll make you almost die, but that's okay. I have 5 livers. So I'm ready for this one. And that's right. When we go down or go up for this wedding, I'm gonna have to take about 4 of them. What up, Jay?
What's going on, man? What is going on? Yeah, you need all the livers you can get whenever you're going to hang out with us, man. Um, Lots of fun on this show, man. Returning is one of our most popular guests because he is so incredibly inspirational. He's
Talented.
And talented and just hilarious in his own right. Mr. Morlon Greenwood is going to be joining us. Morlon played with the Dolphins and Texans and everything, so it's going to be interesting to pick his mind a little bit about Deshaun Watson and the whole situation that is the Houston Texans right now. And then also we're going to be chatting with Doug Ware, the president of the New Orleans chapter. And if you don't know, the past week or so, the middle of America, basically from Texas on up, was frozen. So Doug was supposed to join us last week. Unfortunately, everybody was frozen in, but he's going to be joining us this week. So it's going to be really fun. And look at that. It's the return of Cisco. I think Cisco got moved into his new place. So look at that. Congratulations, man.
Congratulations, Cisco. Yeah, no, it's a great show. I'd love to pick Doug's mind. J.J. Watt leaving, got released by the Texans. So, of course, the Raider fans would love to know what he thinks his chances are. But, bro, why are we doing this? You know what we need to do, man. Come on, stop playing.
Come on, man. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we might do it. Yeah, we do it. All right, let's do it.
It's time for Barbershop Chop.
And if you guys didn't know, this haircut and that style that you can't see right now, same barber. You know, that's why we chop it up the way that we do. That's it, man. Daniel, my man out there. But yeah, so the Raiders, it's not that they have a log jam happening out there right now as far as the quarterback situation, but every week, if you see it in Facebook and any of the Raider clubs, hell, the Raiders themselves have to make the answer. And the question is, what should the Raiders do as far as having Carr, Marcus Mariota? I don't know myself. I'd love having him as a spare tire, but maybe there's some value in a trade.
If they can get it, man. Marcus Mariota, that's a good safety net to have. And you saw in Week 15, whenever Carr went down against the Chargers and Mariota stepped in, good stopgap to have. You don't want that. You've seen drop-offs around the league, right? When he goes from the starter to the backup, Dak Prescott and Dallas, and all of a sudden Andy Dalton, who was a starter for years, but he wasn't the guy there. He wasn't getting the same reps and things like that with the first unit, goes in there and just lays an egg, right? So Marcus Mariota was a really good safety net, a 2-year, $17-point-something million contract, which for this year puts his contract, for a backup right around the $10.7 million range, which is a tad more than what you want to pay a backup, especially when you have other needs and other guys that, need to be brought in and money to be passed around and things like that. So what is to be done with a Marcus Mariota? That salary, the backup salary, it's kind of, MP, it's kind of right there in between. It's not quite backup material. Otherwise, I think the Raiders would just hold on to him because I know John Gruden really likes him. But it's not quite starter, right? Starters usually make lower end about $20 million, higher end $40 million a year. That's just the market these days. So what do you do with that guy? Where does he land? What kind of trade value do the Raiders actually have in him? Where could you see him lining up next season? Because I would be really surprised if Marcus Mariota was still in silver and black at the beginning of this season, right? So, he's 27 years old. He had a really good game, and he was a functional starter. I wouldn't say he had good moments in Tennessee, but he did get supplanted by Ryan Tannehill. So, those kind of moments back and forth. He threw, I think, 77 touchdowns against 40-something interceptions. But his starting record was, I think he lost 3 more games than he won. But that's not saying anything, right? Because Eli Manning was 500 at quarterback and is a Hall of Famer. But he also got saddled with a really terrible rebuilding Tennessee team, that didn't have Derrick Henry and that defense and everything else. So you look around, teams like the Patriots are going to be without, they're not going to stick with Cam Newton, or I'll be really surprised if they stick with Cam Newton. The Washington football team, they're not going to have, Alex Smith is burning all kinds of bridges over there. I don't think he's going to be back, and I don't think he wants to be back with Washington. And, you look at our neighbors to the north to Chicago. Anybody's better than Mitch Trubisky, right? Well, we say that. Some of the same team now has Nathan Peterson on it.
Until you get Andy Dalton.
Until you get Andy Dalton. So, could these teams really, facilitate a trade or something like that? Or if the Raiders can't find anything to their liking, or teams just hold out on them, instead of paying those bonuses, roster bonuses that are going to start coming up over the next few weeks for teams all across the NFL, we may just see them cut the guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they have a decision that has to be made. You kind of hit on a lot of good points where he could land, but I want to throw something at you with that one. So what if we do trade Mariota to the Patriots? And the Patriots, they had a quarterback last year that I'm sure they're not happy with, but could the Raiders be happy with him? I mean, he was a starter quarterback. He was an MVP. He's humble in himself. It's not a scenario where Cam Newton would be looking to start. But if there's value, you're right. Let's go ahead and get the value on Mariota, get someone else. I think Cam Newton, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but played for the league minimum last year, which, hell, we could afford to do that here. And that would allow us to go ahead and fill in those other gaps that we have to as far as picking up players, especially on the defensive side, to get the push that they definitely need. And I know we're going to address that moving along, but no, man, it's a couple of places. That's what makes off season fun. The ifs, the and it's like PlayStation Madden. Who's going to do what and where they're going to go? And I know we're going to be talking about it for the next 4 weeks, man. Jesus, 8 weeks. 8 weeks.
Well, so we got 8 weeks. Free agency begins on March 15th, so that's when all of this kicks in, and that's just 3 weeks away. And that brings up another point that you put down. Do the Raiders go after Patrick Peterson or a Richard Sherman or guys like that? And we've kind of talked about it over the last couple of weeks and everything, but oftentimes in the NFL, especially when news and rumors are concerned, where there's smoke, there's fire. And Patrick Peterson is doing all he can to be a good soldier for the Cardinals and shooting out rumors saying he doesn't want to be back there and things like that. But, it's kind of, the writing seems to be on the wall for a guy who is 31 years old, at cornerback. That's not old, but he's certainly lost a step, things like that. But he's also said that he, for the right team and for the right money, he wouldn't mind a transition over to safety, which I think Patrick Peterson would make a really great safety. He's a ball hawk, and he's still got great coverage skills. But cornerback is definitely one of those positions, what have you done for me lately kind of things, and the young guys, we see with Damon Arnett and guys, even the ones that are, not quite up to that elite level are still fast and, a little bit cheaper. And that's the name of the game, especially after you're coming off a COVID season where teams weren't necessarily making as much money. And even though they're saying, the cap might, shift a little bit or whatever, and they're raising the league minimums and all that, that's all collective bargaining stuff. But, teams are wanting, if they can only get certain percentages, then depending on what state you're in, certain percentages of fans back into the stadiums and stuff, they're going to be looking at cost-cutting measures, man, where, they wouldn't mind giving up a little bit, to save a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, and no one does. It's not, in fact, I always used to laugh at teams because I'm a Detroit Lions fan. It seemed like we would always pick up the guys that get cut, and they would never work out for the Lions. but they always seem to work out for other teams. And I don't know if the Raiders can be one of the organizations where people can, come here and make that difference, transition into other positions, like you're saying, Patrick Peterson into safety, or, how it can work. But, man, they're going to have to figure out how to do it on the cheap because we don't have that the stud on the line. And I don't know if he's in this draft either. So it's going to be interesting, man. Peterson can make a difference. Hell, what if we could get both of those guys?
Right, Sherman and Peterson.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Perfect world, unlimited cap space. Yeah, sure. Let's just play that unlimited cap space GM there. That would be, you're talking about for Patrick Peterson. I mean, you're really looking at what impact and what knowledge and what mentorship and everything can he bring you over the next 2 seasons. Right. That's really kind of it. After that, you're going to want to drop off. Every NFL coach will tell you the guys who stick around longer on these kind of speed-based positions, you just reach a certain point where you just GMs and owners and everyone else, they just go younger. Just like the running back position. Once they hit 29, 30, just go younger. It's just, the cheaper option or whatever. So, Patrick Peterson, Richard Sherman's probably got, Richard Sherman is an athletic freak. He's beyond that, and his NFL, his football IQ is off the charts. I mean, the guy has so much value in that kind of position, but that's what you're going to be paying him for. Not so much on field, but what can a Richard Sherman or a Patrick Peterson come in and in the next year or two, the next season or two, teach the Damon Arnett's and the Jonathan Abrams and these guys like that about how to step up and take that next level up.
Yeah, no. So, we'll see. We'll see. The thing that really cracked me up is once a player is gone, seeing the teams that wanted to pick a player, and who knew that the Colts wanted Derek Carr at some point, and the Raiders said no, unequivocally, no, you're not getting him. So there's value on Carr, but man, again, it goes down to just you never know what you have until you see what you don't have. And people, people always talk about let's get rid of Carr, and you go, wait a minute, they wanted Carr. Wait a minute, they wanted who did the Rams just get?
Stafford.
Detroit Stafford. There's always value somewhere. So, guys, I think we have something. We have a jewel. We just have to appreciate it. Had his best season ever last season, and offense isn't the problem, as we could see. So I want to see him. I want Carr. I don't want to see him go anywhere. Why do we want to get rid of him?
Well, this is the tweet that kind of set everything up as far as that. Not available and where the Raiders were standing as far as Derek Carr and everything. The Colts are checking in. And look, teams check in on players all the time. And that's something that people need to understand about the offseason. Even if you think that teams don't call and ask the availability of guys like Aaron Rodgers and these guys like that, Lamar Jackson, they got to do their due diligence, right? That's what that's called, due diligence. They got to call and go, okay, hey, what do you think? I mean, could we get Rodgers? And oftentimes teams will go, no. Or if there's that hesitation in their voice, they go, well, what are you thinking? Everything's on the table, including on the table. So you know what I'm saying? So what are teams looking for? So every player gets called about, and that's what makes this year so fascinating, is that we're seeing so many different teams move on from people that just a couple of seasons ago you would think would be untouchable. Jared Goff, untouchable. He brought his team to a Super Bowl, right?
Right.
And he's young, and he's got the Hollywood looks, and he's in L.A., and that's what they're all about, right? So, I mean, that you would think that guy's untouchable. But L.A. said, no, you know what? I think we can upgrade here, and I think we can bring a guy in who's really tired of being in Detroit and has gone as far as he can there, but maybe a change of scenery. And so now you're seeing this QB shuffle go on, and I know it's really blowing people's minds, and it's giving media heads stuff to talk about. But this is kind of what everything was alluding to. COVID kind of upended everything. And now teams are like, okay, I got to make money. And some teams are in win now, and some teams are in win later mode. And what can you get? So right now, I think GMs are just kind of making a splash and going, you know what? I got a free year. I got a free year because of COVID. I got a free year to do. Let's make some moves. Let's try some weird stuff. And I honestly think that John Gruden doesn't get enough credit for that, MP, because of what he did with Khalil Mack.
Yeah,
and
getting
the
all those
trade
picks.
he did.
Yeah.
Getting all his picks and trading a premier defensive talent and getting picks that turned into some quality players for the Raiders and everything. And I know we're going to chat about that in a minute, but I'll go ahead and bring that up. But I know you put on there feeling the sting from it. I don't know if they're feeling the sting. I know at first it was a sting because Mac was so beloved and because he is an all-pro defensive guy. But you start looking at everything they got for him. And when you're a team that's in the rebuild and you're more than one player away from reaching the Super Bowl or even winning your division and getting into the playoffs, sometimes you got to pull the trigger on things like that. But it doesn't. You gotta have the drafts to then back up those kind of. It's GMs get fired and coaches get fired because they'll pull the trigger on trades like this, and then they screw up in drafting or everything else. So, I think Gruden should get a little bit of credit because I think he knocked a few things loose, and we're starting to see the ramifications of the fallout from that Mac trade.
Yeah, no, and when you say sting, it's just looking at the offense or the defensive line and the things that they're not able to accomplish, because you can't have a mediocre secondary and no push on the front. And not to dog these guys, I'm sure they're young. Abrams is an all-pro, but in the same breath, if that defensive line isn't getting that push, we just saw what happened in the Super Bowl. Man, that defensive line was hungry. And that's the end. Of course, everybody, as we're just saying, in a perfect world with your sunglasses on, yeah, we'd love to have the same line that those guys have, to be able to have Ndamukong Suh, Pierre Paul. These guys are monsters out here. Our monsters need to become monsters. And you said it a while ago, man, that I want old John Gruden back. I just saw a post yesterday that God, and earlier today, and it was Saban, and he was yelling at one of his players, and I know I can't remember the line verbatim, but what it was literally saying is that people who are trying to get to the top don't take the yelling as aggression. It's only the people who don't know what it takes to get to the top, and that's why athletes. When you see an athlete being yelled at by a coach, and the athlete's going, what, this man's won 6 national or 5 national championships. I think he knows what he's talking about. And if he's telling me that I didn't do something right, there's a reason that he didn't tell. He's telling me like this because he's passionate. Oh, that's what it was about, passion. He's passionate about what he's doing, and he knows that we can get it right. And I'm not going to be some little kid about this thing. We're grown men out here. Tell me like a grown ass man. Shit. If I need to be better, coach, tell me I need to be better. I'll go do that thing. So. Yeah. And that's what I got from Gruden. And I want that. Chucky, maybe his doctor told him he can't do it and he'll catch a stroke. I don't know. But either way, I want him back, people. Start writing letters. We need Chucky back.
Well, in a couple of minutes, we're going to be talking with former NFL vet Morlon Greenwood. And, of course, in here just a second here, we're going to be talking with Doug Ware. Dougie Fresh, as he's calling himself, from our New Orleans chapter. He's smiling. He's ready to come on here. But, final note about the Mac trade. I mean, it takes a couple of seasons for these things to kind of play out. And, again, it has a lot to do with how they draft and things like that. But between that and Amari Cooper, another guy, who is beloved, they got a first-round pick for the – it turns into Farrell, and it turns into Josh Jacobs, and it turns into, Jonathan Abrams, and it turns into – all these guys, Ruggs and, guys like that can change an offense, multiple guys that can overhaul a complete unit and make them dangerous to the point where they're putting up the most points in franchise history, which the offense did this season. Unfortunately, the defense gave up the 4th most or gave up the most in franchise history, and the offense scored the 4th most. Sorry, I did that backwards. But you see how things can be. So, as it moves forward, they're going to need a lot of help on defense. But there you go. Kind of go back to the Marcus Mariota trade. If you can get value for him, if you can get multiple picks, and that's seemingly what the Raiders want, and relief on cap, cap room and things like that, then there you go. You got to hit. You got to nail those defensive guys that can come in and plug away, right away and make a difference on that unit and everything. So it takes a little patience. Takes a little patience.
What he said, damn it. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thanks, everyone, for checking in. We appreciate it. Grown ass man, you darn right. Don't even start, Sarah Lopez. Sarah, come on now. Things going strong in Austin. I know a little bit later on the show we'll talk about Raider Homer, and they have an event going on there in Austin. Barbecue raising money for an organization there, and I don't know a former Raider player will be there. Sarah she always talks. I ordered some popcorn from Sarah's daughter, her organization. I got it today, and it was really good. Or yesterday, I got it really good. One of the tubs of popcorn is already gone. I'm just going to say that. So, all right. So, without further ado, I know he's waiting patiently, and he's thawed out now, straight from New Orleans. Our guy, Dougie Fresh. What's going on, Doug? How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, doing a lot better here in the desert than you guys were doing just a couple of days ago, man. Everything's thawed out there. What's going on?
It wasn't as bad as Houston got, but we did get like freezing, below freezing, and it caused the power to go out, and we had rolling blackouts. And I think that's what happened to me last Tuesday when I was supposed to be on. I was fine all day. I was sitting around waiting for this. And then my area got hit with a rolling blackout for like hour and a half, 2 hours at the wrong time. And it just threw it off. And it was also Mardi Gras that day.
Yes, it was.
But because of COVID, we didn't have Mardi Gras, but if you've been here long enough, you can have your own kind of Mardi Gras.
So, yes. How long have you been in New Orleans? Did I say that right? Nolans?
Nolans.
People that live here don't say it like that.
What? You said stop it.
You can tell who's from out of town by the way they say New Orleans.
Oh, shoot. That's funny.
But no, I've been here. It'll be 11 years this November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you coming from?
I came from Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska.
Makes a little bit more sense now. Okay. Yeah. So because you don't have a football team in Nebraska.
Right.
We got
the Cornhuskers, and that's not necessarily professional. I mean, maybe under the table, but that's for another show.
Yeah. No. So is that where you're from, in Nebraska?
Yeah. Omaha, Nebraska. But my parents got divorced when I was in 3rd grade, and my father moved to LA. And so I was kind of moving back and forth. And one of those years was when the Raiders moved to LA, which kind of explains my whole passion for coming from Nebraska to coming from Omaha and moving to LA. It's like,
I was going to ask, how does a kid from Omaha, Nebraska, which is Cornhusker County, I mean, Cornhusker State and nation there, red and white all across, and you do a 180 and say, you know what? I'm going to pick up with the black and silver. What was it about the Raiders that pulled you in as a young man?
Well, one of the friends I first made when I moved to LA, he was a huge Raider fan, and so he was like, "You got to be down with the Raiders." I was like, "Okay, let me check them out." And then also at that same time, the Beacons Moving Company, they had that big. I think it was like a storage facility. I think it was like maybe a 10, 12-foot story building. It had that huge mural of Lester Hayes on the side of the building. And so anytime on the I don't remember what freeway it was, but every time we would be on that freeway, we would pass it. And in fact, Lester Hayes is my favorite player because of that. And so I just grabbed onto the Raiders and didn't let go.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So you go to New Orleans, and you see now you said 11 years. So you weren't there for the Super Bowl, correct?
I moved here in November of 2009, when they were on their way, when they had that great season that got them to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So I moved here while they were on that run.
So there wasn't a little like, oh man, I got this team here. I got to see. There you go, baby. That's what's up. That's what's up. It's just a team around the corner playing.
Yeah, you know what it is about the Raiders and about the Saints. You've never seen Raider fans put bags on their heads at games. That's something Saint fan can never live down. Doesn't matter if the Raiders are 0-16. You'll never see a bag over their head. And so the Saints, they won one Super Bowl, and they think, you know, that they win every year. But you win one Super Bowl, you got to do it again. And you can't live down putting a bag on your head. So now I will say winning is great for the city. So, you know, I root for them in that sense because it's great for the city. You know, everybody's in a lively mood. But no, I can't do it. Can't do it.
Man.
And then also, sorry,
a
lot of people here remember Kenny Stabler as a Saints quarterback, but they forget he came from the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's a little bit of history between the Raiders and the Saints. But
people remember what they choose to remember. I'll tell you that much.
Sure.
So you know, tell me, being a Raiders fan and a Raiders organization in the middle of Who Dat Nation down there, you know, how does that go along? Where do you guys hang out? What do y'all do? Where do y'all gather for games?
There's a bar we go to. It's called the American Sports Saloon. And when I first moved here, I found it, I think, on Facebook or something. And so I would go every Sunday. And it got to the point where they would recognize me and they always would designate a TV for me to watch the Raiders. And so over the years, I kept coming back and they kept getting more Raider fans to show up. And so it eventually just became our meeting place. And it's a big bar. It's a bar downstairs and then there's 2 bars upstairs.
Right.
And if you come in, the bar downstairs is for every game. Any game you want to see, you stay downstairs. If you go upstairs, the owner is a Steelers fan. So the front bar is for the Steelers and the Patriots. The back bar is for the Raiders.
That's a smart man right there. That's a smart one. That's the truth, right? He's like, no, we can maximize.
Is welcome.
Yeah.
You know, we're a friendly bunch here. And love who you want to love. Oh, there we go. Look at you, man.
That's me, and that's Malcolm Reed. He's the VP of our chapter.
Okay. All right.
And he also just got the head coaching job at a local high school, McKinley, I think it's called.
Oh, okay.
So if you get a chance, reach out to him. He's that's somebody you want to talk to.
Call him Coach.
I love it. Giving back to the neighborhood, you know, and to the kids. You can never beat that. So now all of a sudden, you know, you're hanging. They love you in this bar. How do you become the president? And how do you think that, man, in all of this, I'm going to be able to create a chapter?
Yeah. So I can't even remember where I first saw the black hole, but I remember it said, if you want to start a chapter, or I can't even remember. But anyway, I reached out to Cisco and Rob, and they were like, okay, you know, we had a phone call and we talked, and they were like, okay, you get 10 people together, and then that'll get the ball rolling. So that was maybe 3 years ago, and I had 5 to 6. So it took a while. And then Malcolm, who was just in that picture, somehow he found the black hole and he reached out to Rob and Cisco. And this was before we even met. And so Rob, it was either Rob or Cisco texted me. It was like, hey, there's another guy in New Orleans area that wants to start a chapter. So you guys need to get together and see if you want to form the same chapter. So I connected with Malcolm. We're like, hey, you know, we need to do this. He had a few friends up in his area. He doesn't live in New Orleans. He's closer to Baton Rouge, which is 70 miles north of New Orleans. Right. So he had some friends up there that were also Raider fans. So we kind of got together, like, let's just do this together. And he even said, you know what, you can go ahead and be the president. Like, sure, I'll do that. But then COVID,
Sure.
and so that was last year, and then right before football season, obviously COVID hit. And so I sent an email to Rob and Cisco. I was like, hey, look, we only have 8 members here. I know you wanted 10 to get us going. We only have 8, but as a morale booster during COVID, can you go ahead and grant us a chapter with just 8 people? And, you know, they talked about it and they were like, you know what, that sounds like a good idea, because, you know, middle of COVID, everybody's like, you know, what's going on? We got to figure this out. And it was right when the NFL schedule came out and everybody was planning to go to games, but of course that didn't happen. But anyway, they were like, you know what, that sounds like a good idea. We're going to go ahead and let you get that chapter started with just 8. But I still have a few people that are interested. I just have to get them committed. So I think we'll get to 10. I think we'll exceed 10 this coming football season.
Oh yeah, especially after the boost you get from our #1 rated show here. Yeah. We'll set up a MySpace page for you. It'll be for Raiders fans in New Orleans. You know, we'll pick you a nice little backdrop with some music and things like that. Well, we'll get you a picture of our guest coming up, Morlon. You know, nice. Morlon. You know, he you know, not only NFL player and things like that. After the bare minimum training, he didn't know what a first down was. I don't know if you ever heard the story. He didn't know what a first down was for like the first 4 games. He played football and everything, but he's also like a male model, like a Zoolander and things like that. Man, my man is like, you know, he's like a Greek god. You know, he's a man among boys. So, you know, we'll get a picture of him, put on the backdrop and everything, and there you go, man.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. So I mean, being in New Orleans, you guys are obviously known for food, music, and everything. But the festivals, the livelihood of, you know, most people only equate. It's kind of like being here in Vegas, right? Most people only equate it with the Strip. They only equate it with the French Quarter and things. Yeah. But you know, what are, I guess, some of the draws of New Orleans? Obviously, you've been there for a while now, so you know that's kind of like your, you know, that home now. So, you know, what is it about that city that you love, that you want people to experience?
It doesn't take long to make friends. You know, when I first got here, it's a New Orleans thing, but everybody will refer to you as baby. You go into Walgreens and the lady at the cash register will say, "Is that all you need, babe?" And it catches you off guard at first, but then when you start to hear it, you know, it just becomes infectious. And New Orleans is one of those places where you see people on the street and you speak. You don't know them, but you know, you just reach out. You just say hello.
That's Southern hospitality, man. That's
exactly. And then when I got here, I went to Bourbon Street a few times. Yeah. But after a while, you know, it kind of, you know, you've been there, done that. But it's the surrounding areas that don't get a lot of notoriety,
right?
That has that welcoming feeling, you know. I think that's why it's a big tourist attraction, because people come here and they feel like they're at home. They feel like they're among friends.
Right.
And, well, it's so funny bring that up about the Babe. I have a guilty pleasure, which is NCIS New Orleans. Yeah. And they say that all the time. And, you know, and it just caught me off guard. Like, is that his nickname? But then I know she called everybody the same thing. Like, oh, okay, she's not flirting. That's just, you know,
right.
so I
exactly. You, at first you think, is she flirting with me? And you hear it everywhere. And it's like, okay, it's kind of like if you go to Texas and you hear howdy. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So I get it, man.
I can equate that. I grew up right across the border at Beaumont, so about 2.5 hours away, 3 hours away, however you drive to New Orleans and everything. But big, strong influence there still. Cajun music and Zydeco and, you know, jazz and all of that, man. I miss it. I miss the food more than anything, you know.
Yeah, we miss it too. All the festivals got shut down.
Right.
So we just
you know, real quick, you said it was Mardi Gras, but you know, the city said you couldn't have Mardi Gras. Mm-hmm. So what did people do? I think I saw a report like people were decorating their houses and yards.
Yeah. So obviously they can't have the parades with the huge floats. So what they started was a crew of house floats, And so the artists that decorate the Mardi Gras floats, to kind of help them keep working, you know, you could reach out to the it's called Kern Studio. That's the big Mardi Gras float production company.
Right.
And say, hey, I want to decorate my house, you know. And so they would send, I don't know how it worked logistically, but you know, some artists that would normally decorate a float would come to your house, decorate your house. And so it became, I mean, it just blew up. I think there were over maybe 1,000 houses, but it wasn't just New Orleans. It stretched all the way up to Baton Rouge.
Oh, wow.
And so the city put out a map that you could drive around, and it was so many houses. There's no way you could have seen them all.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah. You know, so it was just sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say cities and people in general this past, year or so have gotten very creative about how they approach things. And I love to see it, that, I hate that it happens because, Mardi Gras, one of those things that if you've never, Mike, I don't know, MP, if you've ever experienced Mardi Gras live.
Almost moved there, but never been there. Yeah.
For anyone that hasn't experienced Mardi Gras live, well, it's Mardi Gras is a kind of a take on Carnival from Rio and everything. But I mean, it's so wild, and people associate it with what they see in Hollywood, right? You flash and you get beads, but there's so much more to it other than that. Oh, yeah. And it's such a great experience that you need to experience it live at least once in your life. It's one of those things. Like going to Paris and seeing the Eiffel Tower or something like that. You want to go to Mardi Gras and see it with your own eyes, experience it, and wake up on Bourbon Street.
That's funny as shit. You said on Bourbon Street.
Bourbon
Leaning next to
Street.
your friend that you just met 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, you're best friends with them now. Like, hey, you want to start a podcast? We'll talk about the Raiders.
Yeah.
And that's really what Mardi Gras is. I mean, the flashing doesn't happen a whole lot. That's mostly on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
But along the parade route, you make new friends immediately. You share your drink and they share their food. So it's like it's
sounds good,
almost a family atmosphere. It's great.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy during COVID time because now people are like,
yeah.
But I mean, that's what it is. I mean, really, honestly, you're sharing drinks and sharing food, and it's a family gathering and everything. So, before we let you go, we know the New Orleans chapter is a newer chapter. We know you guys are just getting started and everything. But if people, the whole point of our highlights on our chapters is that if you travel across the country, wherever you go, you can find Raiders fans during season, taking on the game, representing their neighborhoods, doing community service, doing all kinds of things like that. If people want to get involved or find you guys on Facebook or anything, how do they go about reaching out to you and finding you and your chapter?
On the New Orleans chapter Facebook page, I run that, and I try to check it periodically. I work in film and TV, so I have these crazy hours, but on a phone, you can check your Facebook anytime. And then our Instagram, our Vice President Malcolm, he runs that. And social media, you can leave a message or DM anybody any time of day. So we're always looking for new members.
That's it, man.
That's it, man. You could be lucky number 10.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
the balloons will fall down on you. Be like,
I think there's a prize. You get your own float next year, courtesy of Doug. He's gonna drive you around.
That would be amazing.
We're gonna make it happen then. We're gonna have a Raiders. We gotta have a Raiders float in New Orleans. I don't know. Yeah, it's not Philadelphia. I don't think they'll attack the float. So I think we're gonna make it happen. Yeah, we're gonna a big picture of Rob's face up there, Rob and Cisco. Get the animatronic ones where Cisco's
floating heads.
Yeah. They have the ones with the LED lights as well.
Yeah, the LED lights. That's so great, man. Well, Doug,
the Super Bowl is here in a few years, and I think it's 2024, and it almost will coincide with Mardi Gras. So they might be a week apart, or they might be in the same week. I haven't seen the calendar. But if you come to New Orleans for that, that's the good time to come.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
A lot of people heading to rehab after that week.
Well, you guys went from freezing to, I know down south here in just a couple of weeks, you're going to be sweating from all that damn humidity that you guys had. Y'all keep it there. I didn't move to the desert for humidity, so keep all that. I don't know how you get your hair fluffy out like that. See, during the summertime, that's just how everyone looks.
Oh, yeah. It's just,
You're just dripping sweat and your hair just is out here.
As soon as you walk out the front door, you're sweating.
Oh, my God.
It's like a wet sock to the face, man. It's just it's gross. It's gross. But I love it, man. There's no other city like it in the world. And, man, I appreciate you taking time to talk with us, and I'm glad everything's better in your area. No more rolling blackouts and everything else. And I like your setup, man. Your helmets and the flag back there, too. What all you got back there real quick?
Right. I got an autographed helmet over here.
Who's that autographed by?
Oh, man, let me see. Otis Sistrunk, Jack Tatum, Lester Hayes.
Oh, what?
George Atkins, Ray Guy.
Oh.
There's a lot.
Okay. So we're definitely still in that, MP.
Kid's helmet I found on eBay. Autographed.
I like it.
Derek Carr, Marshawn Lynch.
Nice.
A limited edition. Yeah.
I like it. In the box, man.
And my ID card and my flag.
There you go.
Perfect.
I got to represent.
I like it, man. I like the figures in the box, man. Yeah. Especially Marshawn Lynch. Come on, man.
Oh yeah.
Limited edition, like you said.
Always.
It's gotten to the point where people have started to ask me if I have any clothes that don't have the Raider logo on it.
Isn't that how it should be?
Yeah, I wear Raider stuff every day.
That's it.
Yeah, I have to.
That's what it is. I like
Love it, man.
Love it.
Always repping, man.
Yeah.
Well, Doug, thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Can't wait to
Stay
chat
warm,
with you
brother.
again.
Yeah.
Stay warm and get ready for that humidity. Yeah. Hurricanes. And I'm not talking about the drinks from Pat O'Brien's. I am talking about those damn hurricanes.
Real quick, one good thing about the cold weather coming through is the cold weather, if it cools off the water in the Gulf of Mexico, that will lessen the intensity of hurricanes in the summer. So even though we had to suffer, it's still kind of a good thing. So those hurricanes aren't as intense as they can be sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And they always seem to be attracted to New Orleans, no matter where they're going. They just turn up and go, "Hey, I really want to visit the French Quarter."
Yeah,
and always. All right, man. Take care. We'll talk to you soon, Dougie. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
All right.
There you go, Doug E. Fresh, man. Doug Ware out of New Orleans. A lot of our guys, Raider Homer and these guys, talking about, hey, they need to plan a trip. Get down there in New Orleans. Go see our chapter down there, our sister chapter down there from Austin to New Orleans. Make that connection and everything. That should be really good. And if anyone can liven up a party, Raider Homer's about it. So now we move on to our guest. Mike, probably our most popular guest to date is a guy that we're bringing back right now. In Morlon, Greenwood, just because his story is so real, it's so unique, and we said it a little bit earlier, but his story is so inspiring and everything, and he's just a genuinely good guy who is low key hilarious all the time, and so we love talking to him. He's our guy. He's a friend of the show, Mr. Morlon Greenwood. There he is. What's going on, Morlon?
Oh man, everything is good. Everything is good. Thank you guys for having me. Definitely, it's my pleasure being here on the show, and thank you for those kind words, and that you guys really enjoyed the last interview, and I had a lot of fun being on the show. You guys do a really good job. You ask great questions, and you keep it going.
Well, thank you, man. Come on, you drop bars on the show. Just out of nowhere. We were talking about taxes, and then you just dropped some bars, bro. So that was awesome.
Yeah, man. It's definitely it's definitely good to let everyone know the diversity the different things that I do, you know. But sometimes I get a chance to come out, I get a chance to let them know. Most of the time, I just kind of stay low key, like you said. But once in a while, you get a chance to really shine and let them know what you've done and things like that. And definitely have fun doing it.
No, you got to have fun, man. You got to have fun, and you know. And we say low key, but I know with all your organization, your foundation, you're doing a lot of things, and we're going to get to that. But before we move into that, brother, Super Bowl, it just finished. The outcome of that game, Tom, you know, we always say Tom Brady and the boys, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers put that ass whooping on. Man, did you see something like this happening, man, or were you able to go, I can see this happening?
So 10 weeks before the Super Bowl, I was on a show, Football Fan Box, and on that show, I was telling everybody, they were talking at the time, Pittsburgh Steelers were 11-0, right? They were talking about whether Pittsburgh was going to be in the Super Bowl. Which two teams do you see in the Super Bowl? Or do you see the Pittsburgh Steelers losing to anyone, you know, possible team? And, you know, my two picks at that time was Kansas City and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everybody always saying, oh, you know, hey, here we go again, picking Tampa and Tom Brady. But I played against Tom Brady. I know what type of player he is. I know that you cannot count him out. And he has a track record and what you've done. And what I like about Tom is he makes people around him better.
Exactly.
You know, with what he's done and what he's accomplished when he walks into that locker room, not just on the offense, but also on the defense as well. Because I know he developed that camaraderie and the guys look up to him because of what he did, and they believe that if we give Tom Brady a chance, we're gonna win the Super Bowl. So they 10 weeks later, with Kansas City and Tampa Bay, and they were like, "Who do you think is gonna win?" You know, I was on a show the day before, and everybody else picked the Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas City, and I love Kansas City as well, and Mahomes. I want Mahomes to do well because he's a great quarterback and he's electrifying. But I told him Tampa Bay was gonna win the day before, and you know, there you have it. You know, Tampa Bay won in a very convincing fashion. You know, and I'm pretty happy for the team. I'm happy for Tom Brady. I'm happy for the organization that to take a chance on him, because he's a guy 107 years old and he's still playing.
Now, how, Morlon, in your opinion, how important is that to have a guy like Tom Brady? Because, I mean, you've played with some very talented guys, especially at the quarterback position, being in Miami and Houston and everything, and you had those highs and kind of lows and all that good stuff. But how important is it having a guy like that who can instantly come in and just elevate the guys around him, whether through his play or through his work ethic or whatever it is, to change that mentality from contender to championship mindset?
Man, that is very key and very important. And it's not just on a football team, it's in every organization. And being the quarterback and being in the quarterback position, that is a key position that have to have those type of leadership qualities that everyone look up to. The quarterback is really the leader of the offense, but is really the leader of the team. You know, the middle linebacker is supposed to be the leader of the defense. You know, like when Ray Lewis was playing. You talk about Dick Butkus, you talk about Mike Singletary, all those guys that call the defense, the people look up to them, but the entire team is really the quarterback. And to have a guy like Tom Brady go into an organization like that and having done what he has done and being able to lead by example and to show the team that he's still, if you guys believe, you work hard, we can do this, and we just gotta believe in each other and play together. And you can see that the guy's embracing me. He's not a guy that look up himself like a superstar. I remember after one of the games, I guess when they were going to the Super Bowl and they were interviewing him, and he was like, "Hey, interview some of these guys. It's not about me," because he definitely want the audience and everyone to know that it's really a team game, and he cannot do it by himself. And but having a guy like that with a mentality like that, that that's not going to quit, is definitely in a leadership position is key to every organization, because that's what every guy look to when things start going the wrong way. You need those leaders to step up and be able to make an impact, and that's what they did in the playoffs.
And it's funny, the fact that you said it's not just for football, it goes for every organization. And, the fans know I'm a big Laker fan, and I liken the same thing to LeBron James. They lost 3 games in a row, and LeBron said, I need to step up and do whatever I need to do as the leader of this team. So I think you're right. And so how many players are out here that we don't know who are leaders like a Tom Brady? Because we know he's the GOAT, man, but do we not know about these other players that are on these other teams? Have you seen it in other places, or is this just a one-off and everybody else just wishes they had a good leader?
Well, when I played in Houston, a guy that I look up to, and I really enjoy his play with Andre Johnson. He was a wide receiver, big, fast, strong, but he never spoke, and he wasn't big on talking. He just went out there and he just had a presence where he didn't have to say anything, and if he did talk, everybody did listen. But just the way that he carried himself, and he lead by example, and you have guys like that are not. He was definitely in the media. A lot of people know him because he was a high draft pick from Miami, and he played well, and he played extremely well. And you have definitely had other guys on the team that played, but you probably know them. I played with a lot of them. Jason Taylor, Junior Seau, Zach Thomas, Tim Bowens was one of the defensive linemen that I played with. That he was another guy that led by example and really did a lot of the dirty work for us up front. Him and Darryl Gardner. Darryl Gardner was probably the biggest human being I ever seen. He was like 6'7", 300 pounds, and the guy had abs. I mean, when I came to the NFL and I see this guy, I was like, man, I hope that this is what the NFL is all about. But then you had Zach Thomas, who was like 5'10", so I was like,
I can do this. Yeah, I can do this.
I could do this. Yeah, playing linebacker. So, but but a lot of teams have a lot of those guys that lead by example, and they don't like. For example, myself, I like leading by example. I never was a rah-rah guy, and I never really liked to talk. But on game day, it was very necessary for me to get the team pumped up and hyped up. And you probably could see a couple of pictures on the internet, me being there doing the whole hyping up thing, which is something I didn't like to do. But I know I was all about winning. And if that got the guys hyped and pumped, and then every week the guys were looking for it. It's kind of like on Fridays, Coach Kubiak used to, Saturday night before the game on Sunday, Coach Kubiak used to have us stand up and talk, and they used to pick some of the guys, stand up and talk, and then I would get up and I would talk, and I would basically talk to them like how I talk to myself, how I get myself ready, but I was sharing it with them because they're my teammates or my brothers. And they used to get so pumped and so hyped. They used to be like, man, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's your accent, but when you finish talking, it's like the goosebumps. I'm just ready to go. I can't even sleep. Well, the next day, a guy was like, man, I couldn't even sleep last night. I was just ready to get after it. And then then we go out there and win. Then the next week, Coach Kubiak is having me stand up there again and talk. Then the next week, oh, Mom, you're the one laughing. So now all the pressure is on me now. I have to deliver a good speech. But you have a lot of guys like that just led by example, did their job, and just went out there and played that the players look up to, and they really get the guys going. Yeah.
Oh, you cracked me up, man. Was it the accent? I don't know.
No.
He wasn't even saying anything, but it's his accent.
Right.
We were just like, he read off a grocery list, and we were just like, milk and eggs, baby. Milk and eggs. Let's go get it.
It was like, I don't know what it is, but it's the accent.
Oh shoot, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. So, Marlon, you kind of said something about coaches, man. Are you coaches yelling at you? Does that motivate you? You know, are you upset when coaches are in your face like a Nick Saban is? We were kind of talking about that earlier. I'm saying I wish that Coach Gruden would be more, old Coach Gruden. Where you get in your face. And so are you, as a football player, are you okay with that? And you're like, no, that shit motivates me.
I'm gonna open up this office door because I'm getting hot in here.
Yeah, you
see, he's not ready to play. It's all words.
I'm getting hype and talking about hyping up everybody. My daughter might run in here and disrupt the call, but
it's all right. It's all right.
Oh, good.
But I've never been motivated by someone yelling at me because it's some guys need to get it because they mess up a lot and they don't take things seriously. But I've always been a serious person. I've always and I always take it personal. You don't have to yell at me. As a matter of fact, I have a quick story for you. In college, right? In college, I was one of the players that I always try to do everything right. I started 48 consecutive games in Syracuse. I remember my sophomore year, sophomore year, we were playing against West Virginia. And sometimes a tactic that the coaches use, which I found out after, is they try to find someone to make an example out of, to be able to let the team know how serious of a game it is. So they can't yell at the person that don't get yelled at because everybody might be like, oh, he's yelling at so-and-so again. It's just another week. But if he yells at somebody that never gets yelled at, everybody be like, "Oh, he's yelling at Morlon. It's serious. We need to make sure we get our act together." And so I remember Coach P. We were in start, and Coach P talked like this. Coach P. He doesn't really say his S's. He's Italian. Coach Paul Pasqualoni. So if instead of saying Syracuse, right, he said Syracuse, right? So and instead of saying stance, he said stance. So I remember I was in start and he was like, Morlon, fix your stance. So I was like, so I fixed my stance, right? And I was playing Sam linebacker over the tight end. He was like, Morlon, fix your stance, right? So I fixed my stance again, right? And then I remember the play was play pass 26. The fullback went into the flat with cover 4. I had to cover the fullback. Actually, it was Rob Conrad because he was up there in Syracuse playing fullback. And I was walking back, and Coach B just started yelling at me. And I'm walking back, and I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. Why is he yelling at me? He was like, you're not going to do the things the way you want to do it. You're going to do things our way. And I'm walking back. I'm like, why is he yelling? So I be yelling at me, you're not going to do things. So I just turned to him and I said, Coach, why are you yelling? And he was like, you're not going to. Why am I yelling? Why am I yelling? And so he didn't know why he was yelling. So he walked around the entire carrier dome because we're on the first team. So they walk over where he started calling my coach, Chris, he wants to know why I'm yelling. He wants to know why I'm yelling. And he walked all the way around. I remember to this day, Donovan there was like, Morlon, just come back to the huddle. Don't pay me attention. Because all the guys that have been through it already, they've been through it. But so then after practice, I was so mad. I was like, man, Coach P didn't have to yell at me like that because I didn't do anything. And I remember that day I called my high school coach and I called him and I said, Coach Selling, Coach B, I was like, Coach B yelled at me in practice today.
And telling on it.
And I don't think he was supposed to yell at me. And Coach Selling was like, Morlon, remember that one day I yelled at you in practice? And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, you didn't do anything wrong, but I know that what's going to happen? Because I started playing football so late. I started playing football my junior year. I only had a couple of years. He was like, what's going to happen when you go to up to Syracuse and the coach yelled at you one time? How are you going to react to it? How are you going to take it? So I wanted to prepare you for that. So he said, understand this. Sometimes coaches, when they have a big game, they try to create an example, and he's just making an example out of you. So I was still mad, but you know, I went and I saw Coach B the next day, and he came up to me and was like, "Hey, nice sneakers you got there." And I said, "Where'd you get them?" I said, "My mom bought them." He was like, "Wow, how much you pay for them?" How much you pay for them? I said, "About $100." He was like, "Wow, your mom must really like you. Really nice sneakers." So he just tried to catch different type of conversations to get it going, because I was mad. And then he came out to practice one time, and he started to have some little small talk. He walked away, and then he walked back in because he thought I was still kind of upset. And he was like, Morlon, understand this. The harder the coaches are on you during the week, the better you play on Saturday. The better. So I'm gonna tell you this: we beat West Virginia 40-10.
Oh,
I led the team in tackles. I had 2 tackles on special teams. And afterwards, I was thinking about it, like, man, maybe he was right.
He has something.
Maybe he was right. And I like to talk about these things, because you never know what type of player is going through this right now, or using as an example so they understand. Sometimes, it's just part of the game. You go through these things. Sometimes things happen, and maybe a situation like that, if I didn't have my coach Sellen to talk to from my high school, to be able to give me that advice, to let me know that, who knows, if he wouldn't have given me the mentorship and the advice, and let me know to be able to push on, and to let me know there's just a tactic that the coaches use. But I've never really react good to the yelling, and that's one of the reasons I try to do everything right. Which I try to do everything right, because I'd be like, you better not yell at me, because I don't do that to people. I don't do that to people. I treat people with respect and the way I want to be treated, because I feel like no one is going out there trying to mess up. Nobody's going out there trying to not catch an interception. No one is going out there trying to miss a tackle. So when they go out there, that they want to be the hero, right? They want to catch that interception. They want to score that touchdown. They want to spike the ball and be the hero. So if someone dropped an interception and the coach starts yelling at them, "Well, he dropped it," that's a double negative, right? It's you have to really try to build that confidence within that player and within that person. So sorry if I took too long on that one.
No, come on.
No. But it makes so much
man
sense.
Doing an Italian, yeah, come on. That's the best thing ever, bro.
And by the way, me and Coach B is a really good friend. I would still talk to him. Yeah, man. He was in Dallas. He was coaching in Dallas.
Has he heard your impersonation of him?
I don't think he has.
He will now.
I'm sure he'll find it funny. Because all the guys do it. McNabb used to do it.
See, why are you snitch? Don't snitch on other players. It's okay. You're the one who did it. Well, now he's all like, wait, McNabb did it. McNabb did it. So, I'm
be like, oh, I'm not the only one. McNabb did it. This one did.
We shared lockers. Yeah. Right.
Oh, shit.
Well,
like, oh yeah, that's right.
You talk about, the kind of the intimate relationship players have with their coaches, right? You're with them a lot, almost as much as you're with your own family and friends and everything else, especially when you're in that bubble of, practice and everything else. So it's an interesting turn to kind of look at one of your former teams in the Texans and what's going on with the Texans. And you see guys, they released J.J. Watt because he's like, I got to get out of here. Deshaun Watson's not happy. It looks like he's going to play somewhere else. And it all comes down to the relationship or the lack thereof, it seems, between the star players or the players in general, the locker room, and the front office and the coaches and everything else. So, kind of looking at that, that's an organization you had a lot of success with and everything. But, you have that dynamic in college where I guess it's an extra layer in the NFL where you have, then all of a sudden you have a GM, you have an owner and things like that. But how important and how fragile, I guess, are those relationships between a locker room and a coach and a GM and all of that, and to kind of give perspective on what's happening with the Houston Texans right now and why players seemingly are abandoning ship.
Yeah, well, you bring up a great point, and one of the first thing I would start off that question with is leaving from college. It's two different things. When in college, the players are trying to make it to the NFL, and now you're in the NFL, and now you're getting paid millions of dollars. That's the first thing. A coach. Sometime I know I've seen some of the guys. Sometime a coach may talk to them a certain way, but this guy just signed a $50 million contract or a $70 million contract, and now he's got that what they call that I can't curse on here, can I?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to curse, but they call it that FU money, right? It's like the strength coach used to be like, all right, this guy's not here running today, but he's got that FU money, so I guess he can do whatever he want to do. But you have to. That's one of the things that happen, and a lot of guys are thinking about their careers, and sometimes they want to win. But when you have a good coach that recognizes the importance of the camaraderie and the way to be able to make sure that relationship is a good bond between players, GM, between coaches, and amongst the players as well. That's when you see like a lot of teams have great success. But once you start losing that respect with the coaches, and it started last year. I think one of the things that happened with the Houston Texans is they should have never got rid of the wide receiver Hopkins.
Yeah.
They got rid of him, and that should have never happened because he was a key guy to help them to win key clutch situation. And you saw that he went up to Arizona and he did it with Kyler Murray, who doesn't have as much experience like Deshaun Watson. And I think one of the things that they do is sometimes they make some decision prematurely, and losing one player impacts the entire dynamic of the entire team, right. Which is like, especially a wide receiver like that, they're starting to build a chemistry with Deshaun Watson. If you watch a game like the previous year before, and you feel like some of the clutch winnings and some of the key catches to keep drive alive, to get those key touchdowns, to win by one touchdown or 3 points or whatever, it adds up and it does count. And you saw how much of an impact that had on the Houston Texans. And then one thing lead to another. You lead to that. You don't have a good year this year. The head coach gets fired, and then from the head coach getting fired now, J.J. Watt don't want to be there anymore because they have a losing season. And so everything just have a trickle-down effect, but they don't see that, right? They just see some of them in the and I think in the organization of what they see is they see numbers. How can we number crunch and maybe somebody don't like this person, but it's not about liking. It's about the entire organization thriving together as a whole. Some people might have some differences. It's kind of like even on the team, and coaches tell us this. Some two players on the team might have beef, but you know what? On Sunday, when they're playing against another team, you will never know the difference. They're out there doing their job, making tackles and everything and that's what makes the team great. Whenever you have situations like that could potentially become a big problem, you need to nip it in the bud and be able to put your ego to the side and put the team first. And that's one of the things that I see that great organizations are able to do, to be able to set aside their egos and to be able to put what's important, winning, and what is the best way we're gonna be able to win and be able to get to the next level. And I think that's definitely one of the key ways. Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know. It's just your opinion. You don't have any inside information, or maybe you do. But do you think the fractured relationship between Deshaun Watson and the front office there, do you think he's going to be with the Texans this season?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been paying attention to it, but I could talk about from past experiences and past things that happen. If there's any type of animosity towards him and the general manager or the people in the front office, you can see that the ego comes in now, right? Now you have the person that's in the general manager. He probably be like, I'm the general manager. You can't talk to me like that. You can't do this. You can't say that. And he might be trying to get rid of him. It's probably a similar situation that happened with the head coach, right? Why Hopkins is not there, right? Because it wasn't the head coach had some issues with him. I think I heard it. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so that probably has something to do with him not being there. So if Deshaun and the GM or people in the front office is having some type of disagreement, I think most likely you will probably, if they're butting heads and they're not gonna, most likely you probably will see a trade, because both of them will probably say, I don't want to be there. And coming off a bad season, this is what happened when you come off a bad season. When you come off a winning season, everything's great. It's kind of like after a win, it's like someone miss a tackle, coaches will be like, yeah, it's all right. You just gotta get your leg under you and just make sure you keep your eye on the tackle and don't miss it. When you lose a game, everything gets scrutinized. Do you see the way you tie your shoelace right here, Morlon? You're supposed to double knot it. That's why you missed that tackle.
Oh shit!
It's like the tape room in front of everybody, multiple times, back it up, reverse it.
Keep on pressing it. They keep on pressing it. I'd be like, all right, we just went over this one play like 20 times. Let's move forward.
Let's move on.
Marlon, you were out of place.
That's what happened when you. Yeah.
Well, here's another question. As all of the problems in Texans, J.J. Watt is gone, and again, we know that you don't have any inside knowledge, but obviously J.J. wants to go to a winning organization, but a winning organization can mean anything to a different kind of person. So does he try to go somewhere where he thinks he could possibly make it a little better and to get him over the hump? Or does he want to go somewhere he thinks is just a plug-in?
I think he goes to an organization that he thinks has a legitimate shot of going to the Super Bowl and being able to make it to the playoff. If he cannot land on a team like that, he might as well stay in Houston, because and play it out, and they just keep on working it together and be able to get some key missing components that they need to be able to make the team what it needs to be, so they can gel and start making some plays. But I think I think he go down to Tampa Bay.
If he wants to win,
If he goes down to Tampa
free
Bay,
agents this season. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you got to go to Tampa Bay.
I think he go to Tampa Bay, Kansas City, or Buffalo. Buffalo, that quarterback is looking really good. Josh Allen, right? Yeah. He's playing good. He's playing with great technique, and playing with poise. And I really like how he has been carrying himself. Also, Seattle, Russell Wilson, don't count him out. I think he's still has proven that he can still play well if the defense don't give up like 1,000 points a game.
Well, how strong is that pull? Because I know his brother plays for Pittsburgh, and family and everything else there. How strong is that pull amongst guys who have siblings or cousins or whatever in the league at the same time to want to play with family, because a lot of people are, TJ plays for the Steelers, they're all automatically putting those connections together. How strong is that pull for a lot of guys to say, you know what, my brother's playing on that team, or something of that nature, and I mean, they went 12-4 last year. It's pretty good Steelers team too.
Hold on 1 second. Let me go grab my.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, my battery is running out. Let me go grab the card.
All right.
Well, kept him.
There we go.
What if he didn't come back? How funny would that be?
Yeah, we'll just sit here like 45 minutes later. Like,
and then we see him on Facebook somewhere.
He's
like,
playing.
Are you kidding me? He just left.
He's playing Farmville on Facebook. Remember that?
I love having Morlon on. From the insight standpoint, he's good, but dude, he's funny as hell. That man just keeps it going.
What am I drinking? Well, officially, I'm drinking only Modelo, Corona, Constellation brands. Unofficially, I'm also drinking only Modelo and Corona and Constellation brands. I don't know if his phone, Marlon's power went out, so he'll log back on here in just a second. We'll finish up our conversation with him, and then we'll do a little bit. Say what? Some funny news, real quick. We'll wind it down and have that. What's up, Mike Dixon? Unofficially, Brian, I am drinking a cream ale. So that's why it's very clear. It's very, Bad Beat is a local brewery we have here, but it's not a Bad Beat brand. It's something else.
But isn't Raider Homer doing something?
Yes. While we're waiting on Morlon, we'll go ahead and talk about Raider Homer's event in Austin. This one right here. Annual fundraiser benefiting Texas Pit Crew. You can meet, of course, Super Bowl champion Ira Matthews. February 27th, that's this weekend. If you're in Austin, go by the South Austin Beer Company. That's where, or South Austin Beer Garden, apologies. So Raider Homer is going to be streaming a show live from there.
Nice.
His very popular Raider channel and everything. So you want to get down there, even if you can't, get a hold of Raider Homer. Find him on there. Give what you can. Stop by if you can. Do all of that. And, of course, we appreciate Raider Homer and his team for sharing that with us. But, that, again, Mike, is something that is not unique to the Austin chapter. Our Raiders chapters, our Black Hole chapters are doing stuff like this all the time. And I know COVID was a weird year, but you take that out and all over the place, man. These guys are doing great benefits and everything else. And Navajo Raiders sipping a Fat Tire from Colorado. I hope that's a drink. I know
what's wrong with you. I know you know that. Brian Nicoletti probably taking you to 69 of those things. But here's Marlon. There you go. He got his battery back up. There it is. His battery's back up. Yay!
I was like, I thought I dropped down. I was like, I knew that was gonna happen, man.
Man.
This is actually pretty cool. When you said the show, I was like, and I saw this link. I was thinking that I was just gonna call in, right?
Yeah.
But then when I saw this, I was like, this is pretty awesome. Even technology amazing.
Oh man, it's a cool thing. We're never going back to meetings like meetings used to be. They're like, you're gonna meet me. Why do you need to meet me? That's 30 minutes that way, man. I'm gonna send you a link and we're gonna chop this thing up right here.
Right.
Right.
That's definitely something that this pandemic is as bad as people say it is. It also there was a lot of positives in the pandemic as well. But to answer your last question with JJ Watt, with family and the pool there, it definitely have an impact, especially with how good those brothers are, and how good playing, and they start thinking of they think about the family aspect, but they also think about how the fans are gonna take it. As far as jersey sales, they
Yeah, right.
and they try to put the fillers out there and to see how the fan responds to it, and things of that nature. Another impact that it had is like if when JJ Watt is in the NFL, he's doing well. Now his brother is coming up to get drafted. All of a sudden, he is a person that teams are looking to draft because of his success in the NFL. I know of that aspect of it, and then you have the pull like with Archie Manning when Eli get drafted by the Chargers, and he's like, no, he's gonna play in New York.
Nice.
You have a bunch of different things.
He just willed it. He's
different things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But you know what? That would be a good situation to have JJ Watt play with his brother, but that would be depending on is Big Ben coming back next year?
Yeah, he said he was.
Yeah.
He said he was coming back one more again.
One more again.
Yeah.
Well, the Steelers, they were doing decent. I know they didn't finish up strong, but that's a team that may have a shot. If they play well and they get everything together. Mike Tomlin is a great coach,
right?
And you talk about a guy that's a leader and a guy that likes to win, a guy that have done it before. You know that there's a possibility of them winning, getting on a roll, and being able to get it done. So
yeah,
that might be a good choice for him. Yeah,
and Ben Roethlisberger turns 39 in March, but of course, what we're seeing with Tom Brady and everything at the quarterback position, age doesn't seem to matter. I mean, Drew Brees having high success at his age and everything. So
I think all Ben has to do is basically link up with Tom Brady and see what Tom Brady is eating, and go on the same workout regimen. And
Ben is too far gone. Ben is too far gone. Ben ain't coming back on no avocado ice cream. That boy weigh about 287 pounds on
my
a
man
light day.
Is on
a light
day.
On
the chili fried diet. But it is wild that the numbers as far as age and success and everything at the quarterback position. It used to, it was unheard of, right? The Jim Plunkett's and guys like that who, played forever at older ages and things. But, Aaron Rodgers, 37.
He's 37?
He's 37. Drew Brees is 42. Brady's 43.
Wow. He's playing so good, man. Aaron Rodgers, man.
Yeah.
He's playing really good. I mean,
and that's another potential landing spot for JJ Watt.
Exactly.
Green Bay.
JJ Watt. Yep. Green Bay as well. I don't know how much he would like to play in the cold, but
well, he went to Wisconsin.
Yeah. At this point in his career, hey, man,
if you get a chance at a ring, which is what he's saying, he just wants a chance, and he wants to go. Hey, he might be that missing piece for them. But
I mean, think about that. What you just said, that a chance of a ring. And every time I think about that, and I think about Tom Brady had 7 Super Bowl rings, and I remember Junior Seau played 18 years, and the first time he was gonna get his chance to get a Super Bowl ring, New England lost to the New York Giants.
Yeah, that sucks.
in the Super Bowl 18 when they were 18-0. Man, they lost. I was really rooting for him to get the ring there.
I think everybody was. You know what, Marlon? I'm gonna first of all, dude, I want to commend you, and I know it's your job of just your knowledge of this sport. And I think that, and it's just not about today, the former, the history of your position. You named some great linebackers. So, for a guy who started playing this in his junior year at high school, man, I really want to give you props on, taking the time to find out about this thing. But like you said, you don't do shit half-ass, you know. So, or maybe you didn't say it like this. Maybe I just wanted to cuss. But
well, I said, my father says, do your best at any contest, and God will do the rest. I just want to be. But in that terminology, yeah.
Yeah.
So even your dad spit bars. That's awesome, man. I know that was.
I found out that my father wrote songs as well. I remember one time I did a song, and my father was like, you know what, Marlon, you need to do a song about this. And I'm thinking, like, what does my father know about songs? And then I found out that he used to write songs. He used to do acting when he was a kid. Like, they used to act for the neighborhood. His grandmother used to force them to do acting skits and stuff. And so most of the things that I was doing in my life was to be able to excel, because I knew what my father wanted to do in sports. I know he couldn't do sports when he was in Jamaica, but he was talented. He was pretty fast. He was a great, good soccer player, but they didn't have the opportunity to play. So everything I did, I wanted to show him how great he was by what I accomplished. And so everything that I did, I always was keeping that in mind, along with what he told me as well. But definitely thank you for that. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I remember my senior year when I was playing. After I was playing, I walk into the gym. And I remember my first year was my first year playing. So I had the big shoulder pads, looking like a square, and so now that I got the scholarship to go to Syracuse, now my coach was like, yeah, you got to start looking cool now, right? So he said, you need some different shoulder pads to round up, because they're going to be playing linebacker now, because that's what you're going to be playing in college. And I remember putting on the shoulder pads, and I was walking around. He was like, yeah, you're going to be looking like LT coming off the side, coming off the edge. And I said, yeah, I'm going to be like lightning. He was like, no, Lawrence Taylor, not Lightning. When he said LT, I had no idea who he was talking about. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be like Lightning.
I'm exactly like Lightning, baby. That's what they call me. LT, Lightning.
I'm talking about Lawrence Taylor. I was like, Lawrence Taylor. He was like, you don't know what Lawrence Taylor is? I was like, Coach, my second year playing football.
I don't know.
Give me some time.
But I went and I studied that. I watched film on Lawrence Taylor. I watch all the good linebackers play, study them, and that's what's good about film, and what's good about information. Information is out there. So that's why I tell kids coming up, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And as long as you're willing to put in the work and to put in the time to get better, you will get better. It doesn't matter what you're doing. As long as you can sit down and set a goal for yourself and willing to do it, you're gonna continue to get better and continue to until you become a master. Until you become a master at it. So, yeah, man, I enjoy watching tape. When I was in college, I was redshirted. I was called a developmental, right? And it's not because I was retarded or anything. And I don't mean that in a bad way. No.
Okay.
Well, good night, folks.
And I don't mean that in any type of derogatory way.
No.
But they call it developmental, meaning that because I started playing football so late, Coach P wanted me to sit back and just observe and watch the other players.
Right.
And just see what the defense is and study. And I used to just stand there and practice, and some of the older guys, they used to get mad because they used to think I'm just standing there not doing nothing when they're out there and scout team. I never did scout team, and that's how much belief Coach P had in me, that he knew that I was going to do well. And I remember I paid attention. I remember after practice, I used to go up I used to go up to the practice room. I used to re-watch the practice tape. I used to go through every play. I used to watch what the older guys are doing and be like, he's messing up. He's not doing it right. And study film. And then when the springtime came, I started as a redshirt freshman. I made some tackles at an interception in the spring game, and then I started redshirt freshman. Started 48 consecutive games as a redshirt freshman. I was freshman All-American. So and I remember Coach P did a speech about that one time because how I played when I played in the kickoff classic, and we played against Wisconsin and Ron Dane after the Great Dane. We would beat Great Dane. We beat them 33-0 in Giant Stadium.
Damn.
I remember I had a good game, and Coach B was pointing out, the whole process of me not playing on scout team and just being able to pay attention because I started playing football so late. But all of those things are because of studying and just believing in myself and just trying to make something good of the opportunities that was given to me.
Oh, that's sweet. And talking about opportunities, man, kind of pivoting to your foundation, the Morlon Greenwood Foundation. Do you have any things coming up? I know COVID kind of knocked a couple of your projects to the side, the Harley Davidson, but anything that we can look forward to and that our listeners could participate in?
Yes. Well, we had the event that was coming up with Harley Davidson in December 5th. We did a food drive over the winter time. Coming up here, we're gonna start doing some events because the governor is starting to ease up on the capacity and start to increase the amount of capacity that we could have. We're going to be doing some things there. One of our alumni members, Quentin Carter, he's opened up his second Big Jerk Caribbean restaurant, which is off of 2800 Sahara, and it's a really nice place. I went to we had like a little sneak preview of it last night. Went over there, and we're going to be having some alumni events there to bring some exposure to the place and also to support our fellow alumni. Quentin Carter, he played for the Broncos, and he had really talented player that he had gotten hurt. That's the reason why he haven't really had a chance to reach his full potential on the field. But when one thing fails, you have something else that you can fall back on and be able to be a success at it. So that's what he's doing. So we're looking forward to do that as far as with the foundation. We partner with the SGC Foundation that they're having a golf event in April at Revere. As that get closer, be able to, I think it's April, I want to think the 13th or the 15th. I gotta check up on the flyer. It's going to be here right now, but that's going on up there. And we're going to start having not just alumni meetings, but we're going to start planning and start doing some things because hopefully this whole thing is going to be back to normal where we're not going to get anything canceled on us again. We had a big thing planned for the draft, the NFL draft. Obviously the draft was canceled last year. The camps that we do through the foundation, also partnering with the NFL alumni, that was had to be canceled. We were going to do it at 4 schools: Cheyenne High School, not Cheyenne, Cimarron Memorial High School, Green Valley, and Slam Academy, and we're going to do it at Legacy just to space it out around the valley. And we actually did at Cheyenne High School our first year here in 2017. But we definitely, once we have those events solidified, want to wait until the 15th of March. I think it's supposed to be getting increase in the capacity.
Yeah, like 50%, right?
Yes, 50%.
Yeah.
We're at 35% now, but so wait to see that, and then we'll start planning from there and start getting the events going and getting everything going. Because I know especially a lot of the, not just the adults, but the kids that have been at home not doing anything, and in the house, a lot of them, they want to get out, they want to start running around playing sports, and
they're going crazy, man.
Going crazy.
They're going crazy.
and that's speaking of that, one of the other organizations that we partner with is Feet First foundation, which they teach textbook boxing through teach character through the art of textbook boxing, and they do it online as well. They're in all the schools in California, and they're looking to they're partnering up with the Morlon Foundation, and they're going to be starting doing some things in the schools here in Las Vegas as well. So and they have the data where they're able to scale to see the effects of the impact that it had on the youth. Some of the kids, whether it increases their self-confidence, it decreases some of the kids that were thinking of committing suicide. So it's something that does a lot for the kids, right? It's something about boxing and learning and going through them. And it's not like something where they're competing against each other, just learning the technique of boxing, just the punching motion, just a different move, and just for the boys and for the girls to be able to know that they feel confident about throwing a punch, and to be able to defend themselves and know that they have the proper technique. It does something to these kids and in a positive way. So that's a good organization that we're very excited about partnering with and looking forward to doing great things.
Well, if you want to get involved, we've placed Morlon's organization website down here at mg52.org. Go on there, you can check everything out, man. And of course, get involved where you can in your communities. When Morlon disappeared for a minute, we put up the stuff for Raider Homer and the Austin chapter. So there's an event down there and everything. So there's lots of stuff to do, especially as more and more communities and states start opening up after COVID and everything. Right. So get involved. And Morlon, we want to thank you so much, man, as always, for your time. You're always so generous with us, with your time and everything, and your stories and spitting bars and everything else. Which is one of my favorite things.
I didn't get a chance to spit in the bar tonight, but I am. But I also want to let you know I have a movie coming out with Snoop Dogg in June.
Of course you do. Of course you do, man. Of course you do. And you got an album. And go ahead. Tell us about that. You got a movie with Snoop Dogg. What?
Yeah, Snoop Dogg. I only have a little small part in there, but like I said, it's not where you start; it's where you finish, right? It's called Blood Pageant, and they having a release in June.
So, congratulations!
So, the producer said that they just watch the final cut, and they said that they like the way I look and everything. So I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to see it. And also, 2 of my songs got placed in the movie.
Come on, what?
2 of my songs.
Blood Pageant.
I am free, and Take Me There.
That is beautiful.
Man, I'm telling you, it's just very thankful and very, very grateful.
Yeah, we got to get you back on because we need to hear about the Snoop stories. I know there has to be a Snoop story somewhere.
Well, that's the thing. I wasn't when I filmed. I wasn't there when he was filming.
Hollywood bastards.
No, but yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But it's fine though. But I know some people that know him that we can be able to get in contact with.
Just looking this up. I mean, you got Snoop and of course our guy here, but also Stephen Baldwin, Beverly Mitchell. I think.
Look at you.
What was that very wholesome show years ago at CW? Not part of 5, but with Jessica Biel. They're sisters.
7-7.
7-7. How do you know that?
How did I know that?
How do you know 7-7? Don't tell me that was one of your favorite shows. Get out of here. Man.
No, actually, my girlfriend in college, she used to watch it all the time, and she used to call it Happy Family Show.
Happy Family Show. Yeah, there you go.
She's an international student. We dated for like 8 years, but she used to always call it Happy Family Show. But
oh my god!
But when you said that, I was like, oh man,
I know that.
I'd be like, which one want come test this winner? Flow so fit like Olympic runner. Go against me and you will get devoured. I suggest you bow down with honor, with honor, with honor. I suggest you bow down with honor, with honor, with honor. I suggest you bow down with flow from a cerebellum, come from the stars. Over the beat, me mastering bars. Flow immaculate, not encountering flaws. Higher than the earth, not entering Mars. I'm a poetry so heavy, and a word sharp, marshedy. I make him tight, me stay ready. The slot, I want Anita, Angie, and Debbie. Sang me, I make it like diamond, that bling it with the platinum flow like Tupac. I'm big enough, my money pile up with 19 Bugatti, and the people, them a jump up when them come see me. No for them as me brought the crosses. Music was and it a rule the masses. Ultimate #1 a beat up bosses. Now the people say me bad blah blah. Which one want come test this winner?
He was singing all the parts.
I don't know
all the harmonies, all of it.
You know it's ultimate. Yeah, man.
All right,
man,
Morlon, Greenwood, you the man, baby boy.
That's so great. That's so great, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for your time, man. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. I can't even say anymore. Fans.
That's a mic drop. That's a
we'll
mic
talk
drop.
to you next month. We're gonna talk to you next month.
Yeah, man. Yep, definitely looking forward to it, and we can get some updates and let you know what's going on. And yeah, because definitely we're gonna have some things going for sure.
Oh, sounds good, brother. Appreciate you.
Take care, man.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh God! Of course, he's in a movie.
He sang every part. He was singing the harmonies and everything. He was giving you beat. You could feel the beat.
Yeah. You know, the gunshots. He's like, blah, blah. But you know what? It's not a Jamaican song if you don't say blah, blah in it.
Blah, blah.
You know this. You know this, man.
Well, you know what we were going to do, say what, but we're out of time.
We don't
out of
have
time.
everybody hold on too long already. We appreciate
Thank you, everyone, for holding on. We know we let it go a little bit longer than our normal shows, but Morlon's not a normal guest. You know, he's one of our guys, friend of the show, one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet in person. And thank you so much to Doug Ware, Dougie Fresh out of New Orleans for taking time speaking with us as well. And once again, I'm going to put this up here for Raider Homer, his event out of out of Austin, excuse me. Yeah. Go there. It's a fundraiser benefiting the Texas Pit Crew. You can meet Super Bowl champion, of course, Ira Matthews, this weekend. So get involved, do all of that, man.
Go do it. And
if you can't be there in person, then get in contact with Raider Homer and, give what you can, do what you can. We appreciate it, Raider. And to Rob, Cisco, Roxanne, CC, and Mike, all of our internal crew and everything, we appreciate you guys. And we can't wait to talk to you guys again. We'll see you guys next week, right, MP?
That's it. Next week. Have a great week.
We'll do it again. All right.
Yeah, we're here. It's us two. These guys.
That's what we do.
Peace.